Urologist's tip for men over 60. 3 crucial habits to end nightly bathroom trips for good hello. I'm Dr. Audrey Wells. Before we begin, I want to ask you something directly. Are you a man over 60? Do you find yourself planning your day around the nearest restroom? Or waking up so many times at night you feel like you never truly sleep? If so, you're not alone. Most men I speak with believe this is just an unavoidable part of getting older, something you just have to live with. But what if I told you the real root cause isn't just your age, and that the solution isn't necessarily a prescription, but 3 simple daily habits? We're going to discuss 3 scientifically backed practices today, and the third one is supported by a remarkable 2-decade-long study from Harvard University that could fundamentally change how you view your long-term health. I think of a patient of mine, a gentleman we'll call Frank. At 68, he was exhausted, frustrated, and felt his world shrinking. He was convinced his best days were behind him. But by implementing these simple shifts, he reclaimed his sleep, his energy, and his freedom. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact science-backed blueprint to help protect your prostate and improve your quality of life, starting today. All right, let's dive into our very first habit. This is a foundational piece of the puzzle, and it's something you can start doing the moment this video is over. Habit number 1. Strategic hydration. Now, here is where so many men go wrong. It's a critical mistake. They hear that water is good for the prostate, which is true, so they start drinking gallons of water all day long, right up until they go to bed. The real mistake, however, isn't about drinking too much water. It's about drinking it at the wrong time, especially in the late evening. This common practice can actually make your nighttime problems much, much worse. So why is this so effective? Why does when you drink matter so much? The science is actually very simple, and it comes down to 2 key things. First, your bladder. When you drink a lot of fluid right before bed, it's obvious that your bladder will fill up overnight, forcing you to wake up. But the more important reason, the one most people never consider, is the quality of your urine. You see, if you don't drink enough water during the day, your urine becomes highly concentrated. Think about it. It gets darker. This darker urine is packed with metabolic waste products, and this concentrated mixture acts as a powerful irritant to the sensitive lining of your bladder and to the prostate gland itself. So when this irritating liquid sits in your bladder all night long, it's constantly aggravating the tissues, sending these false alarm signals to your brain that you have to go, even when your bladder isn't full. It's a state of constant irritation. And please know, this isn't just a theory of mine. This is a cornerstone of urological health. Major health organizations and clinical guidelines consistently recommend managing your fluid intake timing. It's what we call a first-line behavioral therapy for nocturia, which is the medical term for excessive nighttime urination. It's a foundational principle in bladder and prostate care because it's simple, it's free, and it works. Here's the best way to visualize it. It's a simple analogy. Think of that concentrated dark urine like a glass of acidic juice. Now imagine trying to get a peaceful night's sleep while that acidic juice is sitting in your bladder, constantly irritating the walls. It creates a feeling of urgency and discomfort. And now imagine your daytime urine when you're well hydrated. It should be light, clear, and diluted. Think of that like pure, soothing water. It's calm. It doesn't irritate. It doesn't send those frantic signals. By front-loading your hydration, you ensure that for most of the day, your system is bathed in that soothing water. And by tapering off at night, you give your bladder and prostate a much-needed rest from any potential irritants. So, how do we put this into practice? The rule is incredibly simple, and I want you to remember this. Front-load your fluids. This means you should aim to drink the majority of your daily water intake, say 70 to 80% of it in the morning and early afternoon. Finish most of your drinking for the day by 6 p.m. After that time, it doesn't mean you can't drink anything. If you're thirsty, of course, Have a small glass of water. If you take medication, take it with the sips you need. The goal here is not to dehydrate yourself. The goal is simply to stop the large volume drinking in the evening. This isn't about drinking less water overall. It's about drinking smarter. Now, I want to go back to my patient, Frank, whom I mentioned at the beginning. This was the very first change we made. It was simple. He was skeptical, I'll admit. But he followed the plan, and the results were astonishing to him. He went from waking up 4, sometimes 5 times a night, down to just 1. He did this in the very first week. And this is where the synergy comes in. Because he started sleeping through the night, his energy levels during the day skyrocketed. He felt more rested, more clear-headed, and more motivated to embrace the second habit we're about to discuss. A good night's sleep doesn't just make you feel better. It gives you the power to make other positive changes in your life. Now that you're on your way to getting a better night's sleep with strategic hydration, you'll have more energy for our next step. This is where we start to actively fight back against the very processes that cause prostate issues in the first place. Habit number 2 is what I call medicine in motion. What is it? It's simply a gentle 15-minute walk after your main meals, particularly after lunch and dinner. But hold on. Before you dismiss this as too simple, you need to understand the biggest mistake I see men make when it comes to exercise and their health. It's the belief that for exercise to be effective, it has to be strenuous, high impact, and leave you exhausted. Many men with aching knees or a bad back simply give up on exercise altogether. They think, if I can't run a few miles or lift heavy weights at the gym, what's the point? That all-or-nothing thinking is a trap. It causes you to miss out on what might just be the single most powerful, prostate-protecting form of movement available to you. This isn't about running a marathon. It's about leveraging a gentle activity at a very specific time. So why does this simple walk work so well? The science is fascinating. This gentle walk triggers 3 critical prostate-protecting mechanisms in your body. First, it dramatically boosts your pelvic circulation. When you walk, your leg muscles act like a pump, helping to move blood throughout your entire body, including deep into the pelvic region where your prostate resides. This improved circulation is like opening up a superhighway. It delivers a fresh supply of oxygen and vital nutrients directly to the prostate tissue, helping it stay healthy. Just as importantly, it helps flush away inflammatory byproducts and metabolic waste that can build up and cause irritation. Better circulation means a healthier, less swollen gland. Second, it helps to stabilize your blood sugar. After you eat a meal, especially one with carbohydrates, your blood glucose levels naturally rise. In response, your body releases insulin to manage that sugar. A short walk right after eating encourages your muscles to immediately start using up that glucose for energy. It makes them thirsty for that sugar. This prevents sharp spikes in both blood sugar and insulin. This is critical because we know from extensive research that chronic high blood sugar, insulin resistance, and conditions like type 2 diabetes are known risk factors for worsening benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. By managing your blood sugar with a simple walk, you are directly supporting your prostate health. And third, it acts as a powerful, natural anti-inflammatory. Gentle, consistent movement has been proven time and again to lower systemic inflammation throughout the entire body. And since inflammation is a key driver behind the swelling and growth of the prostate in BPH, every single step you take is actively fighting the very process that causes those disruptive urinary symptoms in the first place. And this is all backed by solid evidence. You don't have to take my word for it. Numerous studies published in prestigious journals like Diabetes Care have proven that a short walk after meals is highly effective at lowering post-meal blood glucose. Some studies show it can reduce the blood sugar spike by as much as 20 or 30% compared to remaining sedentary. This is a powerful testament to how a small, timely action can have a major biological impact. Here's a simple analogy to help you remember the benefits. Think of that 15-minute walk as a dedicated cleanup crew that gets to work right after you eat. This crew has two main jobs. Job number one is to act like a sponge, soaking up all the excess sugar from your bloodstream before it has a chance to cause problems. And job number two is to act like a gentle sweeper, clearing out the low-level inflammation throughout your system, including in and around your prostate. It's a simple but very effective internal maintenance routine. So, how do you do this correctly? It could not be simpler. There's no special equipment needed, no gym membership, not even any workout clothes. The moment you finish your lunch or dinner, simply stand up from the table, put your plate in the sink, and walk out the front door. This is not a power walk. It's not a race. The goal is to move your body gently. You should be able to hold a comfortable conversation the entire time. Aim for 15 minutes. If you can only do 10 to start, that's perfectly fine. The most important factor here is the timing. Doing it immediately after you finish your meal. I want to tell you about another patient of mine, a 72-year-old gentleman named George. George was not an athlete. He was a retired accountant who spent most of his day reading. When I suggested this, he told me, "Doc, what's a little walk really going to do for my prostate?" But he was willing to try. After about a month, he came back and told me he had noticed something. He said it just seemed easier to go. His stream felt a bit stronger, less hesitant. But what really surprised him was the side effect. He told me he had lost 5 pounds in 2 months without changing a single thing he was eating. That was the power of managing his post-meal blood sugar. And this shows the incredible synergy. Habit number 1, strategic hydration, helps to soothe your bladder and prostate from the inside. And this habit, medicine in motion, helps to soothe it from the outside by reducing inflammation and improving circulation. It's a powerful combination that tackles the problem from 2 different, yet complementary, angles. All right, we've arrived at our third and final habit, and I want to speak to you directly for a moment. This is a topic that is often met with silence, or even a little embarrassment, especially for men of a certain generation. But as a health professional, my duty is to the science, and the evidence here is simply too powerful to ignore. Habit number 3 is what I call the prostate detox. And what this means is maintaining a regular frequency of ejaculation. Now, the biggest mistake that we as men have made for generations is in viewing this as a taboo topic that is somehow separate from our overall physical health. It's a conversation we avoid. We might think of it purely in terms of pleasure or relationships, but we rarely think of it as what it is. A fundamental physiological function with profound health implications. And these implications are too often ignored, simply out of embarrassment. That silence is the mistake. So, why is this so critical for the prostate? What is the scientific mechanism at play here? The explanation is actually quite fascinating and very logical. Your prostate gland is a hard-working organ. It is constantly producing the fluids that make up a component of semen. Now, when these prostatic fluids are not expelled from the body on a regular basis, they can become stagnant within the ducts of the gland. Over time, this stagnation can potentially lead to a buildup of old secretions, inflammatory substances, potential toxins, and even, theoretically, carcinogens that might otherwise be flushed out. Therefore, the act of regular ejaculation serves as a natural, flushing mechanism. It is a form of internal cleansing for the prostate, helping to clear out this old, potentially harmful buildup and keep the entire system functioning cleanly. And I want to be very clear, this is not a fringe idea or a New Age theory. This is backed by some of the most robust and respected research we have. This is backed by the landmark Harvard University study I mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation. This was not a small study. Researchers at Harvard School of Public Health followed over 30,000 men. For nearly 2 decades, 18 years to be exact, they tracked their lifestyle, their diet, and their health outcomes. And their conclusion was stunning. It sent waves through the urological community. They found that men who reported ejaculating 21 or more times per month had a risk reduction of up to 33% for developing prostate cancer, compared to men who reported ejaculating far less frequently, only 4 to 7 times per month. A 33% reduction. That is a statistically massive advantage, and it provides powerful evidence for this principle. To make this concept easier to understand, let's use a simple analogy from a world many men are familiar with. Think of it like flushing the radiator in your car. You know that if you let the same old coolant circulate in the engine for years and years, it breaks down. It accumulates debris. It can lead to buildup, corrosion, and eventually a catastrophic engine failure. So as part of regular maintenance, you flush the system. You clear out the old, potentially harmful fluid, and you allow the system to run cleanly and efficiently. Your prostate benefits from the very same principle. The regular flushing helps prevent the buildup of potentially harmful substances that could, over a long period of time, contribute to cellular damage. So the next logical question is, how does one apply this from a health perspective? From a purely medical and physiological standpoint, I must be very clear. The health benefit we are discussing comes from the physiological act of ejaculation itself. Therefore, this benefit applies to sexual activity with a partner or through masturbation. The body's internal cleansing mechanism does not differentiate. The key is the consistency of this flushing function, which serves to keep the prostate healthy over the long term. Now, for this habit, the story isn't about one single patient like Frank or George. The story here is about the 30,000 men in that Harvard study. Their decades-long data tells a powerful population-level truth that we can all learn from. And this is where the synergy with our other habits becomes so profound. Our first two habits, strategic hydration and medicine in motion, are incredible for managing the day-to-day symptoms of an aging prostate. They help you sleep better. They reduce inflammation. They improve your quality of life right now. This third habit then is different. This is about long-term prevention. This is about playing the long game. It synergizes with the others by actively reducing your risk of developing one of the most serious conditions a man can face. When you combine all three of these habits, you are not just managing your health. You are building a comprehensive defense system for your prostate for the years and decades to come. So let's bring it all together. We've covered 3 incredibly powerful, yet simple, daily habits to protect your prostate. First, we have strategic hydration. Second, medicine in motion. And third, the prostate detox. But as I always tell my patients, knowledge without action is just entertainment. It doesn't create change. So here is your simple action plan for this week. A prescription, if you will. Number 1. Tonight, before you go to bed, set a recurring alarm on your phone for 6 p.m. Label it water cutoff. Number 2. After dinner tomorrow, leave your walking shoes right by the door where you can't miss them. And number 3. Simply acknowledge the science you've learned today. That knowledge is the first, most important step. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Doctor, I'm just too tired. Or, this all seems a little too simple to really work. And that's a fair thought. But I want you to remember Frank. Remember the power of a single simple change. Real, lasting results don't come from massive, overwhelming changes. They come from small, consistent steps, repeated over time. This is not about perfection. It's about starting. Because this isn't just about fewer trips to the bathroom. This is about reclaiming uninterrupted sleep. It's about having the energy to get on the floor and play with your grandkids. It's about maintaining the independence and the vitality that you deserve. Your health, truly, is in your hands. If you found value in this evidence-based approach today, I invite you to join our community of men who are taking control of their health. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future guides. And just as importantly, to commit yourself, go down to the comments right now and simply type, Day 1. It's your public commitment to starting this journey. Let's support each other. Thank you for investing your time with me today. In my next video, we'll discuss the one crucial mineral that most men over 60 are deficient in, a mineral that is absolutely critical for maintaining your muscle strength and energy. You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay informed and be well.